And here we go. It's the twist breakdown of Walt Bell's offense, the new offense coordinator at Florida State. We've looked at it a little bit, and what you think so far from what we've seen?
You know,
Like what should they expect going forward with this one?
I mean, he's an up-tempo guy, very, very, very fast-paced. You know, I've watched very little film, so I don't feel like it's enough to. It's not like I've got him totally figured out. And I also would say that, you know, what I've seen so far, it could be what he's really into. It could be more based on his personnel.
I've been kind of wondering the same thing with him. Have we really seen a true picture of what he can do?
Right.
Well, let's get it going.
Similar to set that we're seeing over and over again. There's 3 wide receivers and there's an up back and a spread. We call this a power set because it gives the offense the option of running power. And we've talked about that a lot. What that means is, so on the play side of the power, you're going to get usually it's a block, it's a down block, tackle and guard, but what it really is a combination block between the tackle and guard to the backer. So, like if there's a 3 technique on the power side, the guard's not going to be blocking down. He will be comboing with the tackle.
3 technique. What?
A 3. All right. So a 3 technique means that you're going to have the D lineman is going to be like on the outside eye, outside shoulder of the guard. Okay. So when you see a 3 technique, like a lot of times if you got a 3 on one side. On the other side, you may have a shade, which would be like just like the eye or the shoulder of the center, or you may have a 1, you know, which would be like the shoulder of the guard. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times, if you've got a 3 on one side, you got a shade on the other, unless it's like a 5-man front, but you don't really see that in college football. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it gives you the option of doing some type of power thing. So let's see what they got going on right here. Okay, so what I'm going to call that, and like we said, guys, we use just for kind of keeping up with this. Run that again, Joseph. We have to use my terminology just so I can keep up with it. This is what I call wham play. I've had years where I run this play over and over and over again. It's a very violent play. So what's happening is get it to the beginning of the formation and pause it. Okay, so what's going to happen there is from the right guard all the way over to the left, they're all going to run zone left. The right tackle is going to run zone right. What that's going to do is it's going to take that first defensive tackle outside of that right guard is going to be nobody's going to touch him on the offensive line. Mm-hmm. He's going to have a wham block by that up back. It's
coming across the line.
Coming across the line.
Yeah, coming across the formation.
It's similar to probably the kind of trap you might have run in Little League football. But that's what it is. That's a wham block. It's a physical play.
That D tackle just did a great job pinching right there.
Oh yeah. So if you watch the D tackle, he squeezes it. He squeezes that block. So now what we always talk about is in defensive football. You've heard us talk before. You got to set the edge. So that's one of what would be my keys to good defense. You got to create this. Another thing you've got to do is you got to squeeze. So anytime there's a gap, a good player squeezes it down. Mm-hmm. And usually, if you're going to have like a trap block or a wham block, you want to. What a lot of coaches call wrong shoulder. You want to take on that block with your outside shoulder, not your inside. You know, you've heard your whole life.
Keep
your outside arm through. That's not how you want to defend an interior block like that.
Yeah, you
Because
just
you wanna
open it and you create more space.
Yeah, that's right. You want to blow that sucker up. Doesn't matter if you make the tackle, the back's got nowhere to go. So, they do a good job of squeezing right there, but, as this game goes on and the pace starts picking up.
As they really start wearing them out.
Right. All right. And the linebackers are all over it, and, they do a good job right there. All right. So let's see what we got right here. And this, it tells you, Coach Bell, this is real time. All right. The official just got in there, and they are ready to go. All right. So now, got trips. So this is trips left. There's a ton of different names for that, but we'll just call it trips left. All right, run that again. That's a very interesting play. That let me make sure. Yep, that's what I thought. It's rare. You don't see that as much as you may see other plays.
Oh,
all right. So what were you about to ask?
I don't see what it's doing here.
Okay, so this is what's happening. We've discussed the power or the power O, the power G, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. We've discussed that a lot. So that's going to be, down block, combo block by the guard, tackle, and play side. That's going to be some type of back or tight end or wing back or somebody is going to kick that end out. The play side guard is going to wrap. Mm-hmm. Okay? This is the same play, except the back and the guard that's wrapping are swapping what they do. So in power, the back kicks out the edge.
So you got the guard.
And the guard wraps.
Yeah.
That's power. What I call this play dart. So dart and power are like cousins of each other. The blocking scheme stays the same with dart as it does in power, except now the guard is kicking out the edge, and the back is wrapping and leading. Now, a team that used to do this a lot was the University of Florida when Urban Meyer was there. They used to do it a lot where they would have Hernandez would lead on the backer instead of kicking out that edge. And like I said, we call that, in my offense, that would be dart. It's a good play. And it's a really good combo play with power because it looks similar. And there could be different reasons why you might want to run dart instead of power. There are some reasons why you may want to do that.
And when you're going in a hurry, I guess plays that look similar or make it even harder on the defense.
Right.
Or is it easier for your...
Here's what makes it better for you. You just kind of touched on it. Your offensive line is doing the same thing.
Yeah.
The more times they can do it, the better they'll be at. I've had a lot of O-line coaches to tell me, until we do something 1,000 times, we're not going to be good at it.
Yeah.
So it's easy.
Doing the same thing.
Yeah,
repetition.
Right.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah. Hey, that's exactly what I was talking about earlier. You look at the guy that got kicked out. That was the edge guy, the guy they're going to kick out with the guard. Mm-hmm. Watch how he takes this thing on. See how he blew it up?
Yeah, he did on the inside.
Right,
too. Right.
Blew it
So,
up.
yeah.
Took it on. With
Yeah. When I played, you were taught to take that on with your inside shoulder. Keep your outside on free always. That's
you
right.
can do it as long as you got a stacked backer back there who can scrape.
Right.
So now he becomes the edge player.
Right.
So as long as he can scrape, you're good. Mm-hmm. Now, if you don't have force behind you, you got to take it on with your inside shoulder.
Yeah, you got to keep the edge. Yeah.
All right. And so they just, one of the little wrinkles there, that's more of a power play, but they did it with one back because they used that back as the blocker, and they run the quarterback. So that's a 4-wide spread set, and they run a power type play because there's that when you can run with your quarterback, that's the kind of stuff you can do.
Right.
All right, so this is what we call ace, 2x2. I'm not crazy about some of those wide receiver stances, but all right, that's what I would call 94 seal. It's a 10-yard out by the inside guy, and then the outside guy's running a go. It's a very, very, very basic type pass.
What we got here?
Like a cover 4 beater. There's a tight end on the right side, on the same side as twins. So
Okay.
we've talked a lot about kings.
Uh-huh.
So, but in what we've called kings, so like kings right, the tight end's on the right side, and then there's twins on the left. That would be kings right. This, in my terminology, would be called kings trips right, because the king, the tight end, would be the third receiver on the right side.
Right.
So we would call this formation kings trips right. Okay, run that again. So I noticed a lot of things right there we need to talk about. Number one, if you watch some of our other videos, you know how we harp on how college defenses don't really, they're not that, a lot of them don't seem to care about setting the edge. So
Yeah.
go back to the screen, Joey.
Look at that.
They don't
Wide
care
open.
at all about it.
Right.
Okay, so Coach Bell has called a speed option to the field. That's to the wide side. He's got it.
He's got it.
I would argue it would be a better call to run this if you're going to run a speed option right here, to run it to the boundary, because you got them whipped big time to the boundary on speed option, because they do have an edge player, but the corner's in press coverage. So if the receiver releases outside, that means the corner's going to turn his back.
And
He won't see it. You pitch off that edge player, and
Well, there's nobody there.
then there's nobody there. The safety would have to come up and make the tackle. But it's not a bad play to go to the field, and he just slips.
He
He
just
picks up
slips.
big yardage right
Right.
there. If he keeps his feet, he picks up at least 10, 15 yards. So
And I mean, they're giving them the edge.
oh
like
yeah,
you
they
said.
got edge easy. They got edge easy. The quarterback could have did a better job attacking the edge, but the attacking the edge defender, he rounds it a little bit. He should have got straight at him.
Yeah, right.
But it's a good play call.
Right.
It's a good play call.
Right. And this up tempo, it don't take them long.
Yeah, I
They're ready
mean,
to go.
they're just, this is real time. They're walking. I mean, it looks like they're just walking around, but 5 seconds and it's ready to go. All right, now we got trips left. Remember last time they were in trips left, they ran like a power play with the quarterback. They run dart. Quarterback dart is what they would call that. Okay, that was just what would be called lead draw with the quarterback. Lead draw. So that it's pass set by the offensive lineman, the back's going to take the backer, and the quarterback's following. Not anything that's that complicated.
Right.
All right, so now we got trips left again.
Quick running back, quick quarterback. Right
Yeah, the quarterback is athletic. Okay, so now it's a new formation. It looks like they're in empty left with a wing on the left side. And now a motion to the backfield. And they run stretch. Start that over, Joseph. And what
what it looks like to me, if teams we play this year in the ACC give us the edge, they're gonna be in trouble.
Right. So they're giving them the edge. Okay. Now, so what happens is Texas. I can't tell the outside linebackers number, but you see him running like crazy to get wide. You're gonna overrun it when you do that.
Mm.
Now they get down there and they make the tackle, but hey, you keep giving teams the edge like that, they're gonna burn you.
That's right.
And so I like the fact that kind of goes with what we saw with Coach Taggart.
Sure
Teams
does.
want to give him the edge. He wants
And
to
he's gonna
tackle.
take it. Yeah. Don't make it harder than it is.
All right, so now 2 back. We haven't seen a lot of this from other teams. We saw a little bit out of Scott Frost.
Yeah.
I would call this formation, depending on what what their terminology for the backs are, this would be like red to me. This would be red. So when I get in red, I like to run stuff like different things. Counter zone.
It's similar to veer, man.
I run veer a lot out of this formation. Okay, run that again. Okay. That's one more time. Okay. That right there is what's called power read. It's a devastating play. So it's power. It's the power play.
Mm-hmm.
Except how when they run power, pause it. The back or the tight end or the up back. I mean, somebody who's up that doesn't have their hand in the dirt is going to kick out that end.
Right.
When it's power read, the offensive line blocks power, but the guy that kicks out the end, he doesn't kick out the end. He runs past him. The quarterback reads the end. So if the end gets wide, he gives it and they run power. Mm-hmm. If the end squeezes, then he keeps it and follows that lead blocker. So the guy that's the lead blocker, if it was power, would have kicked out the end.
Right.
Since it's power read, he runs past him. Now what I don't like about how they do it is you want your lead blocker to attack that end like he's going to hit him, because you want the end to not know the difference, and they kind of round it off. So now this is the first game of the year, but that's what that was. It's just power read. Offensive line's going to block power. We're going to read the end instead of kicking him out. It's good. Auburn used to run the heck out of that with Cam Newton. Watch that. So you can see they're blocking power. Now that lead blocker, he's going to just lead on the edge, go past the end, and come to the next guy in case the quarterback keeps it. Okay, so we got two back again. Run that again. What this is this is zone right. Zone right. It's a pause right there, Joseph. It's a creative way of running zone. So we've talked about with zone, if you got inside zone, if you're in the gun, it's going to really usually be one of two ways. You got zone read, where you're not touching the backside end. You're reading him. Quarterback reads him. That's what teams have been doing for a long time. You have split zone. Split zone is where you take that up back or your fullback or your tight end, and they kick out that backside end. So you account for everybody up front on split zone. We said that's why split zone along with power is a good play for RPOs, because you're counting for the front. Here, they run what would be like split zone, except instead of kicking out the backside end, they do what, in my terminology, is called they cruising. Run right past him. You run at him like you're going to hit him, and then you circle to the next threat. Because if your quarterback keeps it, he's still reading him. So if he squeezes, quarterback keeps it, and he's got a lead blocker.
Right. I see what you're saying.
That's something that Georgia Southern a few years ago run the heck out of that. But it's almost like veer, because the difference in zone. Think of it like this right here: teams that you might have played for a high school team that run veer. So if you run veer, it would be like the right side of your line on veer is running zone left, and the left side of your line on veer would be running zone right. So they're zoning towards each other. That's veer. So this play right here is zone right. So the right side of your line is running zone right, which is like zone right, of course.
Mm-hmm.
The back side of your line is still running zone right, but that's like veer.
Okay, gotcha.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so now if the quarterback keeps it, you read that in and you cruise right past him. So it's something. It's similar to the way like a triple option. It's more triple option like.
Right.
So here's what Scott Frost would do with that same exact formation. He may have the slot on the right, bring him in what I would call orbit motion. So he comes in and he runs like what an option motion would look like.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's got the zone read, then he will run, and then he can pitch off of it if he wants.
That's triple option.
Right. But that is a very veer type, but it's just zone.
Did we see much veer with when in the Oregon breakdown?
No.
I didn't think so.
No, but this is not veer because this is on.
Right.
But I'm saying they're using some of those tendencies.
Right.
Okay, back's motioning out. They're gonna throw it to him. You know, we saw that. One thing that I've noticed a little about Coach Bell, he's really good in the screen game, which I love that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just an easy way to get guys the ball, and it slows you down.
Yeah.
So anything like that,
Make a guy miss.
Okay, two backs again. Slot on the right. All right, so that's exactly what we were just talking about. Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's a touchdown. That time, he kept it.
Mm-hmm.
So, run that again. So, the play is zone left. But watch this. Left back, he's coming. He's not going to touch this end. Now, you might say, hey, they blocked the end. No, the end squeezed.
He squeezed down.
The end squeezed down with the tackle, so he takes himself out of it. So, he's cruising to – so, now, all right, pause it.
He's got a lead blocker.
He's got the lead blocker. There you go. So, and then it's touchdown.
Makes his block. Good block by the receiver.
Yep. So that's the same play. And this is the reason right here where a lot of Florida State fans will say Francois is probably the quarterback. Because he can do this kind of stuff better than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be a good look at it right here. Zone left. You got that back cruising out there. There's this guy. Put your foot in the dirt and get upfield. Well done. I tell you what, man. Texas, they're having a hard time contending with Maryland's speed.
Right.
Okay.
And their pace. Their pace is really, it looks like Texas just isn't comfortable at all.
At all. All right, so trips right. That's probably the tight end that's in there like a wing position. So you're putting some pressure on the defense right here because it's a passing formation. But that guy's close enough in to get involved in the run game.
Sure is. You could run wham on this one we were talking about earlier.
Well, definitely. Let's see something right here. Great call. That was wham. It's a great call.
Yep.
Jake, run that again. Let's see if we picked up on a tail. All right, so yep. Let's see. Yep. All right, so pause it. Quarterback comes to the line. He looks at the defense and he makes an audible. When he made that audible, the tight end that's at wing, he moved in got about a yard closer to the formation, to the quarterback,
right?
And he got about a yard deeper to give him a better angle. Okay. So he did that because they're about to run wham. So they didn't have wham called,
right?
They check to it.
Okay.
See, he moves back and takes a step in.
Yep.
Now, okay, I can run wham. There it is.
There it is.
Great call. Great execution.
And that's something he's got when he comes and sees. Is it a front he's looking at right there? That it automatically goes to wham?
It could be, or I mean, you got to remember, college, the quarterback's got hits. He can hear his coaches. So Walt Bell, I don't know if he was up top or wherever, but he could have been saying, he could have counted, or he could have had somebody up top counted. So they only got 3 guys on the left side, and he could say, check wham, check wham, check wham.
Mm-hmm.
And so they check to it, and that's probably what happened.
Yeah.
Quarterback's probably not doing that on his own. And that guy is not like he makes a killer block.
Mm-mm.
Just gets in the way.
Yeah, just gets in the way. Yeah.
All right. Same basic formation. Run it again. Same play. Now listen, one thing about wham is you got to remember it's zone right or zone left. So that back still can read it like zone. That's one thing that makes it a devastating play.
Right.
Is the back can go almost anywhere. He's got some key.
He's just looking for a hole.
And he's looking at he's making pre-snap reads too.
Okay.
Based on alignment that's giving him an idea of where to attack.
Right.
I believe we will run this at Florida State this year. All right, so here's a 2-back. Earlier in the 2-back, we were seeing a lot of zone with a cruiser.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what they do right there is basically go max protect. So, and they slide the offensive line. They slide them left, which is
create a mismatch.
Well, they just want to make sure they give their quarterback time.
Yeah.
And the slide protection in the scheme of protections is the most basic protection you can have. Everybody slides one way, back picks up the edge on the opposite way.
And it's the running game that that created that touchdown, wouldn't you say?
That's exactly right, because they had to bring a safety down because they getting gouged.
And then you can't cover one-on-one.
Well, you got to.
Right. Yeah. But it's hard.
It's hard to do it right. So the running game dictated the single high safety. So as we're going through this, you're seeing what the reason Coach Taggart wanted Walt Bell. What did we see from Oregon? They were running the ball so much on Arizona that Arizona was having to bring a safety down, which was making it much more open and clear in the passing game.
Mm-hmm.
So, by the looks of this, Coach Bell's thought process is the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Create mismatches in the passing game through the run game.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're seeing that there are some real similarities between Coach Taggart and Coach Bell.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's roll it. Pause it. I think they ran power read right here, and right tackle blocked the wrong guy. Something you got to understand. Sometimes it's hard to know exactly what teams are running because all it takes is one guy to do the wrong thing, and that's what it looks to me like. They're trying to run that power read again. Let me say it one more time. That's what it is. They're running power read and the tackle blocked the wrong guy. All right, so we got a stacked set right here, or somewhat stacked.
We saw Taggart run a lot of this.
Oh, yeah. Is that wham again?
Yeah, it looked like it.
I bet you going to, because that's a play that's perfect for Cam Akers.
Sure is.
Perfect for him. So I could definitely see us running that. It's also a really good play for Jaquez. And if we want to go,
Kalen, what's his name? Kalen LeBourne.
Yeah, but it's good because he looks like he can do pretty much anything.
Yeah, he looks like a beast.
But here's the point to take from this. If we go do some two-back stuff with Patrick and Akers on the field, well, Patrick's 235.
Right. Yeah, sure.
He's perfect to be doing these dart blocks, wham blocks,
sure is.
all that. So we can kind of just flow with that. I bet you see those guys out there.
I would bet.
It will make sense based on what we're seeing here.
And they both can run it. They're perfect for it. And we've got
they're better than either one of these guys.
Absolutely.
Maryland's got.
Yeah.
All right, let's run it. Okay, so this is what we call ace formation, 2x2. It's 3rd and 7. So you think it pass. All right, there's a check. I guarantee you that wasn't the initial call. Run that again. Let's see. All right, first of all, let me see exactly what he runs right here. All right, power read. That's power read with no that. Run that again. Yeah, I mean that's all that is power read, and but what they did is they looked up and they said, look.
Well, you don't have anybody from the center to the
right.
Yeah,
so that's the check. So it's 3rd.
Right. So
I'm a fan of coaches that are not afraid to run the ball on 3rd down
when they give you something like that.
Right. We in 2010 we the team I was coaching for, we were playing Buford, and anybody from Georgia knows that Buford is one of the best teams anywhere.
Yeah,
year in and year out. And we saw that on anytime it was 3rd and long, they would check to a 3-4. They would play their tackles in 5s, which means outside. They play their defensive tackles in the outside of our offensive tackles. So that would mean from tackles in, they only had 3 guys. So we would check trap no matter what. We were in a situation one time, it was like 3rd and 25. And they did that, and we checked trap. We don't even touch their defensive ends or defensive tackles, whatever you want to call those guys. The 5 techniques. We didn't even block them. We blocked down on the inside backer with our play side tackle. Guard and center take nose guard and work to backside inside backer. Backside tackle works to inside backer. And our guard that's trapping, there's nobody to trap. He wraps and leads. He's going all the way to the safety.
Yeah, it's a numbers game.
It's just a numbers game.
Yeah.
So we probably run trap 3 or 4 times in the first half. We're probably averaging 35, 40 yards a carry. And so what happened? Buford just stopped running 3-4 like that. But my point is, I like coaches that are willing to just look at what's in front of them. And a lot of times, 3rd down, if they give you the run game, execute it and get it done.
Right.
And that's what they just did right there. And that's a backbreaker for you for the defense too, because you're already stinging them, and they got you 3rd and long.
Yeah, they think they're about to get off the field, and then now they're backing back up and they're on their heels again.
Right. All right. So let's see what we got right here.
I'd see Wham again, probably.
Could see Wham. Nope. This is that man. It's gonna be mass protection.
That's what happens.
So all right. So we're seeing is quick screens, power run game, really up tempo, And then when it's in our favor, let's max protect.
Max protected.
Max protect. When there's a safety walked up, run some type of post. It's hard to defend that one-on-one.
It's hard to defend that one-on-one.
So this is not rocket science. What we're seeing so far. It's working though.
It's working.
All right, it's working. So power game, option game, up tempo, screens, and then let's take shots when the odds are in our favor. That's what we're seeing.
He does a lot, it seems like to me.
Well, he does a lot. He's doing stuff fast.
Yeah.
It's seeming like more than, we've seen zone, dart, wham. That's the only 3 running plays we've seen.
Yeah.
We've seen some basic pass routes, not a lot.
But I guess he just has more option routes on his, because he's just running more option with his quarterback, right?
He runs a lot of read.
Yeah, or reads.
Those plays can go different directions.
Right. Yeah. Gotcha.
All right, let's go. All right, so down there in scoring position again, it looks like 2 back again. So we've seen a lot of zone out of this. Power read. He gives it. So he's going to run. So power read means, well, if it's power read, then it's going to be an outside play if you give it, or it's going to be like the quarterback's going to run power.
Mm-hmm.
So right there, he gives it.
Yeah.
Back up and let's see if we can explain why he's giving it. So get ready to pause it. Pause. Okay. When he saw that end guy squeeze in, he's giving it. Just that quick.
Mm-hmm.
It's a give. And now it's just, let's see how fast you can get to the sideline. All right, 2 back again. So we're going to run a little play action pass right there. And, they've been having those backs cross every time. So that's the reason why you all of a sudden now you want to fake it and throw it to them. That's good coaching.
But it's just not complicated for the offensive lineman.
Uh-uh.
They're doing pretty much the same things every
Very
play.
similar. They're running zone.
And we talked about this in the Will Attacker video. You get the bells and whistles will get your attention, but
Right.
the meat with the offensive linemen are doing basically the same things. Same things.
And it takes them tons of reps to get it.
Mm-hmm.
It's different to the defense. It's not different to the
yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you something, dude. Running backs, you give them the ball, and if they got it, if they naturally have that instinct, you don't have to coach them up a lot.
No.
You got to coach them up on how to protect the ball and things like that. But man, the best running backs, it's like God-given ability to have an instinct on where to go with the ball. Mm-hmm. And so all the it doesn't really.
There's just not a whole lot of coach. There's not a whole lot you can teach that.
It's not. All right, so this is a formation we've seen a lot of wham out of. You could see stretch out of it. You could see zone read. You could see power read. Max protect. Take a shot.
Yeah, I think you could.
That's what we're seeing.
And this is simple. You run the ball on them, and when they come down to stop the run, you throw the ball. When we watched Scott Frost, we were talking about he really didn't limit himself to much, but he had a quarterback that he didn't have to limit himself because of.
Right. So, I've seen enough. We're about done with this first half. If y'all want to discuss this right here, I would need to watch more film of Walt Bell to have a better grasp of it. I got a good grasp of this game. Mm-hmm. My guess is he's limited at quarterback.
Yeah.
By what the quarterback can do. So what that tells me is he's a good coach.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's taking what his personnel is,
And he's getting the most.
You know, one of the things that used to drive us crazy about Jimbo is he was never willing to mold his offense
to our
to his guys.
Right.
Okay, we had Jameis Winston, and we were unbelievable.
Right.
But those guys, there's not many of them.
No.
Okay, and as a coach, you're not going to have Heisman Trophy winner, first round draft picks that much. I mean,
right.
First overall pick.
If that's what it takes to win,
yeah, you're going to have a while between winning.
It's going to be hard to be consistently win.
So let's give Coach Bell the benefit of the doubt and say, yeah, the reason it's kind of simple is because that's what he's limited to.
Right.
He's been successful.
Right. He's getting the
job done. A lot of points.
Yeah.
And I will say this: to me, it was there was sloppy. There were some things that in Coach Taggart's offense was much more crisp. Now, to be fair, we watched Coach Taggart later in the season.
True.
Then we watched Coach Bell's offense.
And a lot of things, I mean, and that's things you can are simple fixes when you watch film with them.
That's right.
You attack that guy. You know what I mean? It's something simple like that.
That's right. But just, you know, what I'm seeing is a little bit sloppy.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, for sure.
I like the thought process, and I really see how he fits with Coach Taggart's team. Excuse me. I would have been a little nervous if when we watched the film that I was like, these guys, they're not going to fit.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was going to guess right now, I would say we will run what you saw Coach Taggart do. We're going to do that.
A lot of powers.
We're going to run power and we're going to run dart. And what we may do is figure out which of those two plays works best with our personnel.
Right.
And that may be what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Or we could do like this right here. Let's say we're facing a team that's got a ferocious. Maybe we want to wham Clemson. Or maybe we say our tight end can't handle Christian Wilkins or whatever his name is. You know, he can't block that guy. He'll eat him up. Hey, dart's out. Or we may say dart's out this week. Run power.
Right.
Or we may say he can't kick out the end. Then we say, well, we'll run power read.
Mm-hmm.
So what we'll have...
And then you neutralize that guy.
Right. So I think what you'll do is you'll see a combination of this stuff to attack the fronts we're seeing and their strengths. I think that can work really, really well together.
Yeah,
and the reason you're going to be able to do these different things is it's not going to be that different for the offensive line.
Right.
They're going to be doing the majority of them doing the same thing every play. They're either running zone or they're running power. Every play. So they'll get really good at it.
Right.
But all these...
But you're still making the defense defend the whole everything.
You're making them defend everything, and it's allowing you to attack specific areas of the defense. Like, you may be able to find the... all right, let me give you an example. So sometimes you don't need to... Sometimes you can't block somebody.
Yeah.
Because they're just that good.
Right.
Several years ago, I was coaching a game, and we were facing a team that had an outside linebacker who was 5 stars. He ended up going. He committed to Georgia. I think he had to go JUCO. But guy was 6'4" and run like a 10.5 and 100. 230 pounds. We didn't have nobody that could block this guy. So what we were doing was running screen away. It was called solid screen. So we fake the run one way, throw a screen back and go through all the blocking. But
yeah. So
what I'm having fans scream at me, "You're not blocking so and so. You're not blocking the whole game." So and I never talked to the fan, but this guy we were away, so he was just right behind me. So we're walking at halftime. We're going to wherever we're going at halftime, and this guy's following me. "Coach, you're not blocking," just over and over and over again. And I looked at him and said, we can't block him. But he's running where the ball's not going. I want him doing that.
Yeah.
So we're going to influence him. So my point being, when you've got more options to, maybe you can influence the guy, maybe you can read him, maybe you can block him, and you just got to do it a different way. You got to wham him.
And if you can find the guy not to block, then you take the defense's advantage away from him.
Well, we said earlier, in a previous show, the key to a really good running game is figuring out who you don't have to block.
Right. It evens the numbers up.
Right. So I've said a lot just to say this. In my opinion, what Coach Bell is going to bring to our offense is a really good understanding of up tempo and going fast. To me, he goes even faster than Taggart, which I like.
Mm-hmm. I do too.
He also brings some really complementary plays in his scheme to what we already do. We talked about the similarities in dart and power, which, based on the teams we're facing, it can work to our benefit to be able to run one week and one the other.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a really good hire. I believe this guy's going places.
I do too. I think he's a great OC. I think we're going to score a lot of points this year.
All right, guys. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to like it and subscribe if you hadn't. Guys, I think we got good times ahead for the Seminoles. Go Noles.
Go Noles.